Oh, hello. We meet again. Yes, I know there hasn't been that many new planter videos on YouTube, and you want and you need to see beautiful plants. All right, let's just do this. I'm not even gonna waste your time. Let's get going with this plant tour. Alright guys, so we're gonna jump right into this mini houseplant tour of the plants that's inside the Ikea Greenhouse Cabinets. If you guys recall, I redid my room back in October and put together these Ikea Greenhouse Cabinets. The goal of that was obviously to not only give my room a bit more of a nice look to it, but also make some more rooms for the plants. So here is one of those Ikea Greenhouse Cabinets. I went with the black one. This is the Millsville collection that you guys have been seeing everywhere on YouTube. And I didn't do much other than add more plants to this IKEA Greenhouse Cabinets, to be honest. I still have the same lights I put up here, which is the Jiffy one. I did add a second one because obviously as you add more lights, they start to block the light from the bottom of the cabinet. So I needed to add a second one, which I did there as well. And then I did keep the glass shelves for now. I haven't replaced those yet. Now, the only other thing I did since I put these together is I did add a bit of these foam strips right here to kind of just block off a bit of the gaps, so that way we can still keep the humidity and trap them in here, but I did leave, you know, these ones open because I still want a bit of airflow. So let's start with the plants at the top shelf. They are mostly cuttings because I do want them closer to that light a bit more. This is one of my newer plants. It is an anthurium. I forget what it's called. I'm gonna put the name down there, but I think it starts with an A. But yeah, that's a baby one right there. And then this is one of those cuttings we did on my melanochrysum. I do have it in sphagnum moss and then have a little paper bag over it. This is one of those other cuttings. If you guys recall with my melanochrysis video, this was the top part that we are saving. So doing really well. And then back here, we have the silver blush. This had a bit of an issue, so I had to cut a bit of the old leaf, but I see a bit of new growth there right now. So I'm gonna put this down here so that way we can see what else is over here. So in the corner here, we have this Monstera siltepecana. One of my other favorite Monsteras, to be honest. This is really a fast grower and it's just beautiful. We have here my Monstera albo cutting. This did experience a bit of rotting, but it looks like it stopped doing that. So the goal with this one is just for it to obviously continue to grow, build those roots up, and then hopefully start to add more leaves. So he's back there. This is one of my favorite rescue stories. So this was my philodendron silver sword. If you guys recall, this pretty much was down to a tiny little piece of node, and look how much it's grown. It's actually way fuller and better and bigger than when I first got this plant earlier in the year. But yeah, it almost died pretty much. And then I saved it through a node cutting. So really happy about this one. And back here is a philodendron brandy cutting that I got. So I actually got like a full plant of this, which I'll show you guys what that looked like. But it was in bad shape, so I just started to cut them in pieces. And this is one of those that is doing really well. And then I think we got a few more cuttings that I started to, yep. So these cuttings actually came from my propagation box. I think this one is I forgot. Oh, this is wait, which one is this, man? I can't tell sometimes. Oh, this is my Jade Satin Sedapsis. So that was one of the cuttings. And then back there, you guys can see, this is a Monstera Peru cutting. So mostly I have up here are those cuttings because like I said, I want them to get as much light and they are closer to that grow light up there. But because this is glass and there's still a bit of space, that grow light is still traveling through to the second shelves, which we have a lot of our crown jewels. So this is where we have the philodendron melanochrysum. I actually just added that moss pole, which is looking really, really great. And next to that is my Anthurium clarinervium. I actually cut the inflow to try and freeze it because when you guys see the Magnificum, there is an inflow there. And my goal is to try and make some Anthurium seeds, so that'll be really cool. I do have this water fountain that I got off Amazon. So this is the thing that creates the humidity for my greenhouse. I don't have a humidifier. And for the most part, this actually works really, really well. This shelf right here gets about 90-95% humidity at most. Obviously the door is open, so it's dropped. and then up there gets around like 60%, and then the bottom shelf down here gets about like 60% as well. So yeah, so that's what's creating the humidity right now for my greenhouse. Now, before I added these strips, it would be at most like 70%. So since I did that, it got up to like 95%. But yeah, so there's the Clarinervium. That one's doing really well. And then we have here the Anthurium dorayaki. If you guys can see right here, this is doing really well as well. Look at that. Look how beautiful this plant is. Now, I am going to say that a lot of the plants I'm going to show you guys in the greenhouse require them to be in a high humidity environment, and they aren't recommended for beginners, to be quite honest. So this is my Alocasia Friday. It's a baby one, but it's doing so well. And then over here, that is my Epiprenum pinnatum that has shot out a new leaf. That's the newest leaf right there. So this looks really cool. I actually really love this plant. And then you have my baby Clarinervium. If you guys recall from my Anthurium collection video, this is the one that we propagated. We cut off the mother plant that kind of just grew out of the main root. And this is how he's doing. And then this is my Philodendron gloriosum. And we got a new leaf there finally. And then back here is my Philodendron gigas, or sometimes you guys hear me say big ass, but that's Philodendron gigas. So those are the plants on this shelf. Oh, and I was mentioning about my Philodendron brandy that I was making a lot of cuttings off. So this is one of them again. Really cool. But yeah, so now on the second or the lower shelf of that is some more goodies. And okay, so this is actually one of my favorite shelves right now. So first of all, I actually just added all my angel wing begonias down here. And that's because I noticed they weren't in the greenhouse. During the summer, they were fine not being in the greenhouse. But it's winter time, so the air is a lot drier. And they do prefer a bit of humid environment. So they started to get a lot of these brown that was happening. And leaves were dropping. So I just put them in here. So this is the My Special Angel Wing. And this one right here is the Benigo Pink that you guys see. This is actually one of my favorite begonias right now. So beautiful. Look at that. And then we have a lot of Syngoniums and Alocasias in here. So this one is my Syngonium albo, and we got a new leaf there. Beautiful. And then this is a Philodendron that I have no idea what it's called. I got it as a free plant when I bought one of the other plants. But yeah, I'm gonna look this up and I'll leave it in the title below once I kind of figure out what the name of it. But it's doing well. Here is my Syngonium Pink Splash, and I actually got this plant the same time I got the Wenlendii right there. But this plant is doing so much better and growing so much faster than my Pink Splash. And I'm not sure exactly why that is. Maybe this one's just a slower grower, but I got them exactly the same time and the same size earlier in the year, but this one's growing really slow. But it finally gave me this new leaf right there that's kind of half moon. And this is the Alocasia Silver Dragon that I actually just repotted to a bigger size to try and get these leaves a little bit more bigger. But man, I love the pattern on these and just the color on it. And by the way, this is actually featured in my coloring book. So if you want to color him, I think he's on midway through the book. And then back here, again, I was mentioning about this Wenlendii. Actually, one of my favorite Syngoniums. I just like the way the leaves look on this, and got a new one right there. So this one just unfurled, you can tell. And then we have one of my favorite ever plants right now. It's not even my favorite Alocasia. It's like one of my favorite plants right now, to be honest, is this Alocasia Dragon Scale. I like this a lot more than the Silver Dragon, and both are beautiful, but there's just something about the pattern on this. Let me try and flip it around so that way you guys can just see how beautiful this plant is. See? Look at that. So beautiful, so stunning. Oh man, it's just, there's just something, I don't know, just the patterns, the texture, the colors, everything about this plant is just, it's just beautiful. And then we got another Alocasia here, which is the Black Velvet. This one's also beautiful Alocasia. Probably not as fussy as I would say a Dragon Scale or a Silver Dragon, but both are, you know, they do prefer a bit more of the humid environment. I wouldn't say not as humid of an environment like what an Anthurium would prefer, but they still do a lot better, obviously, in this greenhouse. So this one gave me 2 leaves since I got it. It wasn't that long ago that I got this plant. All right, guys, so then at the bottom right here is just a lot more cuttings and more of the baby plants. So we got a lot of these Cis this color cuttings, and I actually started doing them in water first, like this. If you guys have seen my how to care for Cis this color, and then I would then transfer them over to moss once the roots are developed. So we got some here and a couple here. And then this is my blue oil fern. One of the only ferns I have left, so this one's pretty cool. And then we have that philodendron brandy plant. So again, we cut a lot off this because it was in a bad shape. So we're trying to rehab that one as well. And then more this color cuttings. And this is my philodendron Brazil that was left. If you guys recall, this was one of those plants that was my top 10 least favorite plants over the summer because I was killing it. It was in a 6-inch pot, and this is the only thing that's left of it right now. So I am trying to rebuild, and but yeah, these cuttings are doing well. And then another philodendron that I have no idea what the name of it is, so I'll put it in the title there. And then I think we have back there one of our melanochrysum cuttings that we're trying. Yep, I see a growth point right there, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so those are all the plants that's in this greenhouse. And like I said, you know, I create humidity with that fountain. I do have a mini fan there. I have 2 grow lights, one at the top and one at the middle shelf right here. The way I install my light is actually using double-sided tape, and you got to put it in more than one area because it is a long light. So you want to make sure, like for example, this is about like 3-inch right there, and you got some more on the sides there, and you got to make sure it's also flush. But to be on the safe side, I did put some fish line wire just in case these do come down, but so far they haven't come down at all. And on the top one as well, I did the same thing there. So that's how I installed my lights. All right, so that is one of the greenhouse cabinets. We're gonna move on to the second one, which is on the other side of my bed there. And usually here, I have mostly my anthuriums and a bit of my philodendrons and monsteras here. But so the first thing you guys will notice is I only do have 2 shelves here, so I only kept one of the glass, partly because some of these plants are a lot bigger and they do require that room. So for example, here on the top shelf are mostly my anthuriums. And again, same light system I had on the other side using that Jiffy one. I'll link it in the description below if you guys are looking. But the first thing you guys will notice is this beautiful regalia right now. So this is one of the new leaves, and it's down there, which is the mother plant. So this is one of the reasons why I actually had to remove the top shelf, which I originally had, but because this one was so huge, I had to remove that to try and make room. But yeah, so there's the bigger leaf down there. And then over here is one of my favorite anthuriums right now. It is my Waroclinium. It's so beautiful, and I'm so happy that it gave me this new leaf. When I first got it, it was such a baby plant. You couldn't even tell it was a queen, to be honest. And then this is one of my newest plants right now. So I know I said I was done buying plants, but this was a gift to myself as a Christmas gift / birthday gift / congratulations on finishing your coloring book. But this is the King Anthurium, the Veitchii. And like I said in my stories, it's gonna motivate me to kind of, you know, whenever I'm looking at this plant and looking at those abs that, you know, Christian, you need to work on yours. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And next to that is the Crystallinum that's doing well. I did switch this back to moss instead because I swear, since I moved a lot of the plants in moss, like a lot of the anthuriums, they're doing so much better. They're giving me so much more leaves, and I'll show you guys that in a second on the Magnificum. But this is the Crystallinum sibling. Beautiful. This is really, really adorable. One of my favorites as well. And then you got another one of my favorite anthurium, which is the Forgetii. I mean, come on, look at that. I swear, it's so beautiful. I think this is the dark form one. I can't tell, but it's got 3 leaves. When I first got this, actually only had 1 leaf, which was this one right here. And then we have this Magnificum. And when I first got this, I moved it to an aroid mix. And then, you know, a few weeks ago, I just moved it to spaying the moss. And since then, look, it gave me that beautiful new leaf. It just started to unfurl today, actually. And then this huge, massive inflow, which is so exciting. I'm actually going to try and pollinate this with the Clarinervium that I froze the inflow or the pollen of that inflow. And then hopefully, you know, we don't miss this opportunity. And yeah, we make seeds out of it, which is so cool. Something I've never done, never experienced. But like always, when it comes to plants for me, you know, I love to experiment and try new things and learn along the way. But yeah, so same thing. I have a fan there. Oh, I have a fan there. And then I have the fountain there as well. Advice on the fountain, if you guys are gonna get this, make sure you wash those rocks and stones because there's a lot of grime on it. If you don't, your fountain's gonna get dirty pretty quickly. So before you set it up, make sure you wash all those rocks. And then below that are more plants and more goodies. So we have here, first of all, my Vitarifolium. So I had this also in an arid mix. I actually lost about 2 leaves to rotting, but since I moved it to moss, it shot out this brand new leaf right here. And this actually grew really fast. Like yesterday was probably half the size of this, and out of nowhere it just kind of doubled in size. But yeah, doing really well. And then one of my other monsters right now, which is the Escaleto. So massive. This is like the big brother to the Adansonii. And if you look closely down there, you guys see there's a new growth that's starting to shoot out. So really happy. And that's doing really well in my aroid mix. And then we have here the Gigas, another Gigas that I plan on probably chopping up in the new year and then maybe doing a giveaway on this one. And then this is the mother plant of the Meldochrysum. But again, it just shot out a new growth there. So we're trying to propagate all those cuttings, and then this is what's left of that mother plant. And then we have here another Philodendron brandy cutting that we were propagating. So back there is my Anthurium vitarifolium, and you guys can see right there that new leaf is doing well. It just needs to get bigger from here. Really happy about that one. And then this is my Verrucasum that, man, it's experienced a bit of like yellowing and all the leaves dropped at the bottom, so I started to chop this up, and this was a top cutting of it. But since I put this in this cup plus the plastic around it, it's doing well. You can see there's a new growth point there, plus those aerial roots are starting to show really well. So, you know, again, doing well. And then the cuttings I have are in the prop box, and we're gonna make more similar to the Meldochrysum. But yeah, so those are, wait, one more. You can't forget this little guy, one of my favorite philodendrons, only because it's super easy. And look how full he is. This is the Florida Ghost, and it's just, man, I love this philodendron. Like I said, the Gigas, the velvety philodendrons like the Meldochrysum, they're beautiful, but this Ghost is just classic. So easy and so simple, but beautiful nonetheless. All right, guys, so that was a quick tour of all the plants in the Ikea Greenhouse Cabinet. Hopefully that's enough to kind of get you guys through the rest of the year. Then come next spring, we'll obviously do a much more detailed full houseplant tour of all the plants in my place. I actually do need to count all my plants because I know that's a question I often get right now, is how many plants do I have? I honestly don't know, but given like what we just went through with the greenhouse right there and the amount of time it took, I'm gonna take a guess we're closer to the 200 mark, but nonetheless, I'm happy with them and I'm excited. And like I said, please make sure that you're always getting plants that only work for you, your home environment, and your current skill level, and make sure that you're always not going beyond your means. Other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this little quick houseplant tour, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.